transparent solution. L is path length or covert size. Okay. So now we understand this epsilon is equal to the absorption cross section and scattering cross section of any substance. And you see here now the absorption cross section, this extinction coefficient is related to volume of the particles. So this extinction coefficient epsilon or sigma is equal to or related to volume of the particle. All others are some other terminologies, constant, dielectric constant, and other things. You concentrate only on the volume, V. So volume of the particle. If you know the volume of a particle, if it is a spherical particle, we can know what is the size. You see that the size is directly related to the extinction coefficient, and which is equal to the absorption. If all others are kept constant, if epsilon is different, which is volume dependent, which in turn is size dependent, so different sizes will absorb at a different color or different wavelength. So now we can establish the correlation between the me theory or my theory, okay, my theory, and optical properties of non-structured materials. So this correlation was not understood properly when the me theory was introduced. So now we know connecting Beer-Lambert's law, nanostructures, volume, size of the particles. So it means that if you are tuning the grain size, you are changing the epsilon. If you are tuning the volume, it means you are changing the grain size, and automatically the epsilon or sigma is different, then absorption is different. When the absorption is different, emission also will be different, and will show different color, and we show different colors. So with this, we can make a distinction between nanostructured metals, nanostructured semiconductors. So I told you that to understand the nanoscale optical properties, we have to separately deal nanostructured semiconductors, nanostructured metals. Okay, semiconducting particles we understand based on the band gap engineering. Metal nanoparticles, to understand the optical property, in addition to band gap engineering, we use a new phenomena called LSPR, LSPR, localized surface plasmon resonance or surface plasmon resonance is the reason for optical properties of the nanostructured metals. Okay. So metal nanoparticles, so they can be synthesized using capping agents to prevent the aggregation. I have not dealt this. You will have to wait till next unit. Same thing. You forget about that. But quantum confinement we have dealt so far. Whether it is a metal nanoparticles or semiconducting nanoparticles, there is a quantum size effect. When we can expect a quantum size effect in metal nanoparticles, and when we can expect a quantum size effect in semiconducting nanoparticles, who can tell? Anybody can respond? Very important. If you understand this, you understood this whole topic. It's
when
simple.
all three dimensions are in nano size.
Yeah, if all the three dimensions are nano, they are called nanoparticles. When we will get quantum confinement effect, there is a specific condition for that. There is a specific term or specific condition for metals and semiconductors. We have already dealt with. Very important. Three terminologies you should be under. You need to understand the nanostructured materials. Exciton Bohr radius. Did you get any another term or terminology? Do you get another terminology in relation?
Cubo gap.
No. Very important terminology. I told you drunken man walk. You remember? Drunken man walk. What is drunken man walk? Random walk. Where do you have the random walk? In metals. In metals, the charge carriers are electrons. Mean free path. Very good. Mean free path. Metals, the charge carriers are electrons. They are always under constant mobility, constant motion. Each electron is always undergoing mobility. So electron doesn't know when it will be the next position. So that's what we call that random walk as a drunken man walk. Okay, so exactly like a drunken man may not be exactly knowing where he will keep the next step. So similarly, electron may not be knowing where it will have the next movement. So moving like this, random walk. That is how the conduction takes place in metals. And we have a large collection of electrons. So we call it as a pool of electrons. Correct? Continuous. Mobility is continuous. Once the grain size is reduced down to the size of these mean free path, the average distance traveled by the electron in a metal is known as a mean free path. This is typically few nanometers. And if the grain size is reduced or down to that of the mean free path, the mobility of these electrons is confined. We call them as a confinement effect. Very specifically, quantum size effect, quantum confinement effect. Because of that, there are several consequences. Those are the consequences we have been seeing in optical properties and electrical properties and its associated properties. Change in density of state, change in band gap, increase in band gap, okay, decrease in the conductivity, okay, so, and change in the absorption, change in the emission. In the case of metals, it is appearance of LSVR phenomena, all those things. That's what it means. In both cases, metal nanoparticles and semiconducting nanoparticles, there is a quantum size effect. But in the case of metals, the metal nanoparticle size should be less than the mean free path. But in this case of semiconductor, the grain size or particle size should be equal or less than the exciton Bohr radius. Then what about the energy levels? So metals do not have the band gap, but there can be development of Kubo gap. Definitely, nanoparticles of semiconductors, they show increased band gap. Nanoparticles of semiconductors show increased band gap, definitely, irrespective of any nanoparticle semiconductors. In the case of metals, if not showing the band gap, there may be a development of Kubo gap. Then, so we have this, so the optical property can be explained using LSVR phenomena in the case of metal nanoparticles. High luminescence we are getting. Okay, so different color is shown by the metal nanoparticles. It need not be necessarily by the band gap engineering, but by the surface plasma resonance. But in the case of a semiconductor, why the change in color is change in band gap. Band gap engineering. Okay, you see that all are interlinked. All the phenomena are interlinked, but independently you can also explain. And so these metal nanoparticles, they exhibit big luminescence because this semiconducting nanoparticles exhibit excellent luminescence. That is why we have a quantum dot sensitized solar cells bioimaging application. It means so intensity is very large. Okay, wavelength will give the color. Higher the luminescence, brighter. You have in green itself, you can create a different color, right? Different versions of green. Maybe red, dark red, blue red, different red. That depends on the luminescence, intensity. Intensity in the case of semiconductor is very large. We have called quantum fluorescence, we have seen already. Okay. So how will be the IV characteristic. We have not dealt. You please wait for today's class or next class we will see. Maybe today we will see how the IV characteristic of nanostructure materials will be compared to the bulk, whether it is linearly varying. How the IV curve of general materials will follow Ohm's law, right? I'm sure you'll agree with me. IV curve of a material will follow Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? Linearly varying. So V equal to IR. Current and voltage will vary linearly. And the slope will be resistance of the material. Correct? Linearly varying. Whether Ohm's law will hold good for nanostructure materials or not, we will see maybe possible today or next class. And both the materials show very excellent catalytic activities, whether it is a metal or semiconductors, because the electronic structure is totally different. Density of state decreases, band gap increases, Kubo gap development. So whether it is a semiconductor, nanostructure, metals, they show excellent catalytic properties. Gold in the bulk is highly inert. It cannot catalyze any reaction. It cannot even decompose oxygen. It cannot even decompose carbon monoxide in the bulk. But gold in the nanoscale even decompose carbon monoxide into carbon dioxide, nitrogen monoxide into nitrogen, or catalyze any other such reactions. Very effective catalyst. We have a new terminology called nanocatalyst. This nanocatalyst terminology is existing last 10 years or so, or less than 10 years. We know only catalyst, but new terminology similar to QDSSC, we have got a nanocatalyst thanks to this nanotechnology or nanomaterials. These are the distinction between nanostructured metals and semiconductors. Some of the parameters we are yet to see. So I'm sure you will learn as we progress. Okay, so we have seen aggregates. The terminology we are familiar with aggregates. Have you seen aggregates terminology? Aggregates, single particles, aggregates. What are aggregates? Collection of several particles. Okay, if you grind it, so these aggregates will move apart and will have a single particles. And in one of the classes, I told you that if the grain size of gold is sufficiently made very small, 1 to 2 nanometer, it can become even colorless. It can even become colorless. This is what it happens. Two phenomena can take place. Sufficiently very small particles, 1 or 2 nanometer gold, is almost transparent color. Either it is not scattering. The particle size is such a small, it doesn't even scatter the light. Okay? Or it must be scattering everything and we have a white, colorless. So generally metal nanoparticle shows a different color due to LSVR phenomenon. But if the grain size is too much small, very small, it doesn't even scatter. And if no scattering, the light will pass through, transparent. Okay, transferred light we have seen already. There are several phenomena for the appearance of the color of a material, and one of the phenomena is a transparent light. Pass through the material, the light pass through the solution without scattering. And in such case, the material will have the same color. No color, very specifically. But you believe me, so the most exploited property of the non-scale property is optical properties. Where and all it is used? Sensing and detection, optical imaging, light harvesting, that includes solar cells, okay, dye-sensitized solar cells to quantum dot sensitized solar cells, environmental remediation, drug delivery, biomedicines, food safety, security, and optoelectronics. Wait for details of these applications. In the last unit, we have the detailed applications. But the take-home point from this optical property is optical properties of non-structured materials are totally different, whether it is a metal or semiconductors. The reasons are now very well known, and this optical property change or different optical properties of non-structured materials can be applied for sensing and detection, optical imaging, light harvesting, conversion, solar energy conversion using quantum dot sensitized solar cells, and the same quantum dots can be used to decompose the toxic organic waste into demineralization. We call them as a environmental remediation, environmental protection. Then the gold nanoparticles can be used as a drug delivery or drug sometimes itself. Drug itself. Very much carbon nanotubes are very much used as a drug carriers, vehicles for carrying the drugs from one place to another places in the body, human body. Food safety, security, optoelectronics. Anything would like to add? Make some comments. Is it any hard to follow? Are you with me? You
Yes,
can
sir.
answer this question. You can answer this question. In a non-structured material, one of you please read. Unmute and read.
In a nanostructural material, option A, the band gap increases compared to the bulk. Option B, band gap decreases compared to bulk. Option C, the band gap is the same as bulk. Option D, none of the above.
What is the answer?
Yes, sir.
Band gap increases. Blindfold and tell. Yes, band gap increases. Next one. Another person, please read.
The density of state is maximum for a option A quantum well, option B quantum dot, option C quantum wire, and option D quantum sheet.
Yes, which can be. What can be the which can be the answer? A, B, C, D. You have confusion? Still? What happens to the density of states when we move from bulk to nano?
Decreases, sir.
Decreases, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is having more density of state and which is having less density of states in non-structured materials. We have three types of non-structured materials. Quantum well, nanowires, nanotubes, and quantum dots. Quantum dots are three-dimensional nanomaterials in terms of confinement dimensions. Quantum wells are one-dimensional nanomaterials. They have compared to quantum dots, quantum wells have a high density of state. Which will have the density of state maximum. Quantum box, quantum sheet, quantum wire, quantum well. You have confusion? Okay, we can come other way. Which will have the least density of state among these nanomaterials, nanostructures?
Quantum dot.
Quantum dot will have, it means quantum box, right? Here quantum dot is similar to quantum box. Quantum box will have a least, that's something like this, tiny. Quantum wire is a wire like this. This is quantum wire. Larger than the quantum box are quantum dots. What is quantum sheet? This is quantum sheet. This is sheet, A4 sheet, material of this nature. What is quantum well? Well is deep, right? Well is deep. Assume that this is having a edge size nanometer. This length is long. This length is also long. Assume that you have a well very large. This is different from that of the sheet. Sheet is only one A4 sheet, but well is very deep. Now you tell me which will have the higher maximum density of states.
Quantum
So
well.
least is a quantum
Quantum
box.
well, sir.
The next is quantum well. Correct. Quantum well. Quantum well. Quantum well is more like a bulk property because only one dimension is reduced from that of the bulk materials. Very good. So the next one, any other person? Other person. Please read anyone else other than those two.
Quantum dots are useful for biotechnology applications in imaging. The property that is useful for this purpose is option A, absorption, option B, luminescence, option C, reflection, option D, transmission.
Yes. What can be answered? Is it transmission or reflection, absorption or luminescence? What is luminescence?
Transmission.
Emission. Luminescence is emission. Absorption, material is absorbing something. Do we see in the case of semiconductors absorption color? No. We see only emission color. In the semiconducting nanoparticles, the optical properties is due to reflection? No, it is due to absorption. But the color what we see is emission color. And in the case of nanostructured materials, the color is due to transmission? No, it is absorption or LSPR. In the case of semiconductor, it is absorption. In the case of non-structured materials, it is LSPR. In the case of semiconductor, the color that we see is emission color. That is luminescence. I told you that absorption and the emission colors are complementary according to the color wheel, right? So material is absorbing one wavelength, it means absorbing one color, but emitting in different color. That is luminescence. So the property used in bioimaging is luminescence. So unfortunately, these questions were asked in MTech entrance examinations. Very, very bad department. Before coming to the department, getting admission, you are all tested. We are all tested. Very bad department. We'll go ahead further. I think I'm done with optical properties. We will move to another very important properties of nanostructured materials. That's electrical properties. Electrical properties of nanoparticles or nanomaterials. Simply conductivity. I have already shown you this slide. How the conduction takes place in material or in solids. Let's consider metals, whether it is a lithium, sodium, potassium, gold, silver, platinum, copper, aluminum, zinc, titanium, manganese, or any other metal for that matter. How the conduction takes place? In metals, the charge carriers are electrons. We have a density of electron. High density of electrons are there. High density of somebody's voice is on. It is echoing for me. You can put off. Yes, thank you. So high density of electrons are there in metals. High density of free electrons, not restricted or static electrons. Free electron, they are free to move. This is how it moves. Always under motion. Electrons are always under motion. So in each movement, it meets its friend. The conductivity is established. Conduction is established. If there is any restriction, the conductivity will be interrupted. If the material dimension is beyond the momenting dimension of these electrons will not have any restrictions, and material shows the bulk conductivity. This is in the case of metals. But in the case of semiconductors, the charge carriers are, in addition to electrons, holes are also responsible for such a electrical conductivity or electronic conductivity. Okay, so we have a p-type conductor, n-type conductor based on the amount of charge carrier present. Then the conductivity of a semiconductor also depends on the then in this case the density of electron and holes and how fast and how slow it can move. This is the conductivity equation for semiconductors. So N is the number of electrons, E is charge, and mu is mobility of electron. P is the number of positive charges or holes, E is a charge, and H is the mobility of holes. So depending on these quantity, the total conductivity of semiconductor will have it. In case of metals, there is no hole, there are no holes, then the conductivity is equal to the mobility and the density of electron alone. This is how the bulk conductivity is shown. Okay, so if material dimension is beyond the mean free path, the charge carriers will not have a boundary effect. The charge carriers will not have the boundary effect. The charge carriers will not hit at the surface, because before hitting at the surface, they meet their friend and they put their shoulder and go for a KFC or McDonald's to have coffee. Conductivity is maintained. But the problem occurs if the material dimension is reduced down to the size of, as we know now, mean free path. The charge carriers will hit at the surface. Once the charge carriers hit at the surface, we call it as a boundary effect. Once the charge carriers hit at the surface, it will lose the momentum, or it will lose its mobility, and it will lose its velocity, and the direction also will be changed. As a consequence, there will be decrease in the conductivity. This is what we call it as a quantum size effect. This occurs very much in metals and metal alloys. Metals, we know what are metal alloys? Combination of metals. We have a brass, combination of copper and zinc, or nickel cobalt alloy, or anything. More than one metal is combined uniformly, homogeneously combined. That we call it as an alloy. They also show the metallic properties. Metals and metals show metallic property, no doubt in that. Metal alloys also show metallic properties. Nickel chrome is a metal alloy. Nickel and chromium, manganese. Okay, so we have also seen that in such a confined environment or grain, the electrons or the charge carriers are associated with the confinement energy. We have already quantified. What is that energy? E equal to n square h square divided by 8m a square. That is the confinement energy of particles in nanostructured materials, or confined energy. This is the same equation. E equal to n square h square divided by 8m a square. The equation that you see is the same equation. Will you agree with me or not? 1 by 2 pi, 1 by mu star or m star into h pi n divided by d square. This is the same equation that we have already used, or as we have already seen. E equal to n square h square divided by 8m a square. Maybe symbols are different, but the same equation. Instead of small m there, here we have, instead of small m there, we have here capital N. Instead of A, I have here D. Then that's all. H we have H cross we have already defined. H cross is nothing but what is the value of H cross? Who can tell? I have already defined. What is H cross?
6.626
H is a Planck constant. No, that is H. H we know. H is a Planck constant, 6.626 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. What is H cross? H cross is H by 2 pi. H cross is equal, this is H cross. H cross is H by 2 pi. Then here H is the usual meaning. Planck's constant, 6.626, 10 power minus 34 joule second. In this equation, if you substitute H cross by H by 2 pi, then you simplify, it will become E equal to N square, H square divided by 8M D square, or M star D square. And you see here, the energy of the electron or the charge carrier is inversely proportional to the size. Inversely proportional and also square. Very much square. So smaller the D, higher the E, or vice versa we will have. Smaller the size, higher the confinement we will have. We have already seen that confinement dimension or the confinement effect is very large in quantum dots. That is three-dimensional confined compared to the quantum wires, quantum wells and quantum wires. In quantum wells, in one of the dimensions only confinement effect we can have. But in the quantum dots or quantum bars, in all the three dimensions, three direct directions, we will have a confinement effect. Because of that, okay, so electrons will feel boundary effect. No boundary effect in the bulk, but in the nanomaterials, there will be a boundary effect, mobility of the electron, energy of the electron, direction of the electron, all will be changed, will result in decrease in the conductivity. Okay, metals and semiconductors will show decrease in the conductivity or increase in the resistance or resistivity. So when we say decrease in the conductivity, it is sure that metals may become semiconductors, semiconductor may become insulator, insulator will become more insulating. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Are you with me? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So when the materials experience a boundary effect, when the particles have sufficiently small grain size, the charge carriers experience the boundary effect because there is a decrease in the density of state, there is increase in the dispersion. I'm connecting from the previous, long back classes, all interlinked. Because of that, so the electron will lose its mobility and its direction will be changed. It will lose its energy. Because of that, metals will become semiconductor, semiconductor will become insulator, insulator will become more insulating. So I think I'm finished with the electrical properties. Oh, is it such simple? Now you can blindfold and tell that when we move from bulk to nano, there is decrease in the conductivity. Metals may show semiconducting, semiconductor may show insulating, or at least decreased conductivity, if not directly showing the insulating properties. So now I will ask, when metals will show semiconducting nature or insulating nature, and what size semiconductors will show insulating nature, insulating property? Who can respond?
So the band gap between 1 electron volt or 4 electron volt. shows semiconducting property?
Okay, that is with respect to band gap. If the band gap is beyond 3.5, it is insulator. If the band gap is between 0 and 3.5, okay, 0 degree Kelvin, so then it is a semiconductors. I am telling you, take a bulk nanostructured semiconductor, subdivide into nano, and you expect insulating nature. At what size you can expect the insulating nature of semiconductor? Similarly, at what grain size the metals will show the semiconducting nature? That is what I am asking. We have already seen this. I have already explained. The grain size should be how much?
Less than 100 minutes.
Then you can expect the insulating nature for semiconductors. Huh? 10 power? No. Yeah, just now we have seen. When you can expect metals to show nanostructured materials show semiconducting nature or insulating nature. Similarly, nanostructured semiconductor may become insulating. At what grain size? At what grain size? Means you are not following. You are not following. So I told you 3 terms. Just now I told 3 terminologies you should be very, very thorough, or you need to understand the nanoscale properties or nanotechnology. What are those terminologies? Exciton Bohr radius, again I am repeating. Mean free path of metals, then magnetic domain size or magnetic particles, which I have not touched so far. But so far I have dealt with the mean free path of metals and exciton Bohr radius. Exciton Bohr radius we link with the semiconductors. Mean free path of metals, mean free path of electrons in metals. Unless you decrease the grain size down to or equal to that of the mean free path of metals, mean free path of electrons in metals, metals will not show change in conductivity. If the grain size is reduced down to mean free path of electrons in metals, then metals may develop a Kubo gap or even develop a band gap. The metals may show decreased conductivity. Similarly, unless you decrease the grain size down to the size of exciton Bohr radius, semiconductor will show its semiconducting properties. If the grain size is reduced down to exciton Bohr radius, semiconductor may become insulating. Insulator will become more insulating. Didn't I make this statement earlier? I made this statement when we talked about optical properties. Okay, very important terminologies. Mean free path of metals, exciton Bohr radius of semiconductors, then magnetic domain size of magnetic materials. When we learn about magnetic properties, there I will introduce that. I will explain that. Okay, so generally the grain size is in the range of 1 to 100. That's why when I introduced the semiconductors, this kappa, what is that kappa? Anyone remember what is kappa? Kappa or alpha? Alpha. Anyone remembers alpha? What is alpha? Have we defined already? That is the exciton Bohr radius. E is related to kappa, dielectric constant, and reduced mass of electrons. Alpha is related to kappa and reduced mass. We have worked out for silicon, and there is a table given. Each semiconductor has a characteristic exciton bore radius. Unless you decrease the grain size to that or less than that, material semiconductor will not show nanoscale properties. That is why I told you that indium stillbium has got more room size. Even if you make a 78 nanometer, indium stillbium semiconductor will become insulator, will show nanoscale properties. You don't need to come to 10 nanometer, 2 nanometer, etc. Whereas silicon, you have to decrease it down to 5 nanometer because the exciton bore radius of silicon is about 5.2 nanometer alpha exciton bore radius. You want to show? You want me to show?
Yes, sir. We calculated it, sir. 4.2 nanometer.
Yes. See here, indium stillbium, the alpha or the exciton bore radius is 78.5 nanometer or 785 angstrom. Approximately silicon is not there, or silicon is there in previous slide. Yes, 4.2 nanometer, about 5 nanometer. So to become silicon insulating, you need to decrease the grain size down to at least equal to 4.2. You cannot expect a silicon to show nanoscale properties at 100 nanometer or 80 nanometer, 90 nanometer. At least close to that. In that sense, so stillbium has more room size. Even if you make 80 nanometer, it will show nanoscale properties. And in the case of gallium arsenide, 21.6. If you make a 78 nanometer gallium arsenide, you cannot expect much nanoscale property. Maybe it might show surface area, but you cannot expect a change in the density of state, or you cannot expect an increase in the band gap, or there may not be a development of tube. Okay. There may not be a big difference in optical properties of gallium arsenide if the grain size is made, let's say, so 50 nanometer. To show nanoscale properties of gallium arsenide, at least it should be equal or down to 21.6 nanometer. Similarly, cadmium selenide, 6.1 nanometer or 61 angstrom. This is the room size or particle size we are talking about. So I think I'm done. We will continue more on this electrical properties in the next class. I'm done 12 o'clock. So if anybody would like to make some comments, clarifications, you can do so. So thank you very much. If you have any comments, clarification, you can ask.
Sorry, sir. What
Yes,
about
please.
the lesson that sub-student have missed?
That's what I told you. So please wait for let some more staff students have to join. Together, maybe separate classes, labs classes will be arranged by all faculties. Don't worry.
Because you know, sir,
but from
it is
here
a
on,
little bit
difficult. I know.
confusing
It is difficult.
because some
Yes.
lessons that we don't know any information about.
Not some lessons. Not some lessons alone. In my case, I have moved at least 14, 15 classes from today up to today. 15 classes means almost one unit I am almost completing. So it is difficult.
Yes, sir.
But please be patient. So teachers will compensate for that.
Yes, inshallah.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
So don't worry. Your exam is in March only. We have 4 months more. That is the full semester we have. Now only we have started. It's fortunate that you have already joined. There are few more students yet to join. You think of them. Okay, so we are. Yes, Nurul, Mr. Nurul, you are already faculty. Yes.
Yes.
You can introduce to your friends.
Okay,
Even
sir.
anybody else has not introduced? You have introduced in the WhatsApp group. Maybe you can introduce one more time. All
Okay.
newcomers for the benefit of your friends. Yes.
Okay, sir. Me Nurullah from Afghanistan. I am a teacher at the University of Paktia, engineering, engineering faculty. But I selected from your university. I am so happy, sir. I miss our all classes because I didn't present.
That's what I'm telling you.
2 months
I'm
ago.
telling not 2 months ago, 1 month ago. So, okay, so some 10
Okay,
classes,
sir.
all of you have missed it. I'm aware of that. We are aware of that. All the faculties are aware of that. Remedy will be done in due time. Okay, teachers will engage you in a separate classes. Some more
Okay, sir.
students are yet to join. Along with them or separately, you will be taught. Don't worry. You talk to the faculties. I will arrange
Thank you, sir.
separate classes for those who are taking this course later. Maybe weekends, it may be in Sunday also sometimes, maybe it may be in the evening time also. You'll have to cooperate. Kamesh, Veeraraj will have to cooperate. I may
Yes,
take
sir.
in the Sunday, evening, night time sometimes also, depending on the availability. We'll wait
Thank you
for
so
some more
much, sir.
time. But please concentrate from here on.
Thank you.
Attend
Okay.
regularly. From hereafter, you attend regularly classes, all the newly joined students.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So you have been connected to their WhatsApp. You pick up one or two WhatsApp number of your friends and you start interacting either WhatsApp or email, and so that they can also explain. If still anything left out in my remedy classes, you can learn. And
Okay,
good
sir.
to know that Nurul is already a faculty. Good.
Yeah, I am a faculty member as a teacher.
Very good. Very good. So anybody else not introduced to your friends so far? Obaid, have you introduced?
Yes, sir. I have introduced myself, and if you want, I will
Okay.
introduce myself once
Okay.
again.
Okay. Anyway, so thank you all. See you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.